Okay, Mark, today we're talking about home inspection. So this is called a day in the life of a realtor at a home inspection.
Yeah, I hear a lot that you say you've got to go on a home inspection. I went on one with you.
He's been on
today.
a ton.
I've been on a few of them, but it's interesting to know what goes on there and why they're so important.
And it affects a buyer and a seller. So when you're in the market of buying or selling, somewhere along the way, you're going to need a home inspection. Okay, so today we did a EMP.
What's that?
Which is equipment, mechanical, and plumbing.
Okay.
A structural, so an engineer comes out, and the termite wood rot.
And that all is part of the inspection, home inspection.
Right.
Right. Is this something that the buyer or the seller does?
Normally, it's something that the buyer does. Now, a seller is welcome to do a pre-inspection. Sometimes people just want to know, hey, can you tell me what's broken around my house? And I'm going to list my house in a couple months, and then they get it fixed. But, then a buyer still does an inspection anyways.
So the whole idea is the buyer wants an inspection to find out there's something wrong with the house before they buy it, and they have a period of time to make that, after the offer is accepted, to make their decision whether to keep it.
Right. You have a 10-day window or more, whatever you decide on in your contract, to do your investigations.
Ooh,
okay?
I like that. Investigation. Right.
And so I always tell people, when you're buying a house, you should always get a home inspection.
Well, who wouldn't have one?
I've had people that say,
Really?
I do it myself, or, Uncle Ronnie's coming over to do it, whatever.
How do those usually turn out?
Well, most of my people it's pretty okay. But
right.
If they say, Michelle, I'm not doing a home inspection at all, I'm good with it, I do make them sign a waiver.
That is truly buyer beware then,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So they can't come back later and say, hey, the sprinklers aren't working, or there's wood rot or termites, anything like that.
Right. And people always ask me how much they cost. So usually they run between like $700 to a little over $1,000 all together, all three of those. It sometimes depends on the size of your house. Mm-hmm. Okay. The structural guys also get a look at your roof. You could also have a roofer come out and look at your roof for free. We do that a lot. We had an alarm guy come today. That's not part of that inspection, but that's free. That's another freebie. If you want to, just have the alarm checked, or to have them just come give you an estimate to put a new alarm in, which is usually pretty minimal.
Okay, so let's start with one of those. Which one do you want to start with?
Let's start with the Ronnie, the engine, the EMP.
EMP. Mm-hmm. Okay, electrical, mechanical,
and plumbing.
And plumbing.
Right.
Okay, EMP there. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Ronnie came by, and how long does this usually take?
Normally, this house was about a little over 2,000 square feet. So this one took about an hour and 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. That's about normal. This particular buyer wanted to hire Knox Inspections. And so Ronnie does the EMP. And then Mitch did the structural from Knox as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the EMP, Ronnie, you talked to Ronnie about what he looks for during an inspection.
The complete electrical system, the entry from the outside into the house, whether it's buried or if it's overhead. If it's overhead, look for tree contact or anything like that. Of course, the mechanical end of it was the heat and air system and the coolant lines, insulation around them. Check the fins if they're dirty or anything like that. Make sure the furnace looks good and clean. Furnace is in the attic like this one is. Make sure there's a pan underneath it in case the condensation lines stop up. It doesn't start coming down the ceiling, and there's a little sensor in there that will cut off if that does happen. Plumbing, water heater, make sure there's a pan under it. The pan goes to a drain, no leaks or anything like that. Check all the faucets, bathrooms, toilets, check for loose toilets, leaks under sinks, kitchen sinks, do all the appliances in the kitchen. I also do doors and windows when I'm doing EMPs. Check all the windows and doors, make sure they're functioning, not sticking at the frame or cracked glass or anything like that.
The end of the inspection, then The buyer is usually there, maybe the seller's agent, whatever, and then they go over everything that they found and kind of just an overview. And then later, they'll send you the full report. And it's like things that really need to be fixed or things that just precautionary as a homeowner, look for this, look for that,
Right.
like that.
Right. And was it him that went up into the attic?
Right.
Okay.
He went in the attic because
Right.
the air conditioner was up there.
Right.
So
Do
he
they
checked
go
on
into
it.
crawl spaces
They
as
go
well?
into crawl spaces.
Oh,
It's brutal.
wow.
It's brutal.
Or
Yeah.
spiders?
Spiders.
Snakes?
Everything.
Yeah.
One time, I love inspection stories.
Yeah.
One time I'm
At
downtown.
band camp.
Yeah, band camp. I was in this inspection and the crawl space, I'm not joking around, was like that wide, like that. I'm not joking. I'm not kidding. I'm like,
So let me guess.
How do you get in there?
These can't be big guys.
no, this one guy, I
Right.
said, you got to get a small guy to go in there.
Right.
We did. We found a smaller guy to go in this way.
But just off the street?
No,
Say, hey,
they just called somebody from the office that was a smaller
$20
guy.
bucks?
Yeah, it was funny though. He had to be small. It was a super, super old house
Right.
down by TU. So, anyways, got that done.
Yeah. Also, now structural, and you talked to, I can't remember the guy's name.
Mitch from Knox. So Mitch did the structural on this house, and typically, like, what do you look for?
Look at the foundation, the framing, the drainage, the roof, see if there's any underlying issues, and then if you need any kind of structural remediation like paring or foaming, like support of the slab or anything like that.
You like being on the roof?
No.
Are you afraid of heights?
Not a big fan of heights, but I've had to force myself to get up on them.
That's funny.
Okay, and then you mentioned termite.
Right. So Don did the termite from Max. He didn't find anything, but super, super important. Now, this particular house already had a termite bait system already in the house. She did like a year ago.
When I'm doing termite, I'm looking at the foundation where the mulch. This is brick. If it was wood siding, that would be an issue. That would be what we call a conducive condition where termites could get into the house. I generally ride up the outside of the house and I go inside and look for any evidence or signs. A lot of times you find it in the drywall. Our termites are subterranean. They start at the bottom and work up. And so baseboard, drywall, the paper on the drywall, anything cellulose they like to eat on. So that's their primary. That is their only food source is cellulose, whether it's paper, cardboard, or tree limbs or wood on the house.
Is it not devastating to find any termite?
It's not devastating,
But is it common?
Yeah, in Oklahoma,
Okay.
it's really common.
Right.
I actually sold a house years ago to a good friend of mine. We closed on it, and I swear, like the week later, there was a swarm of termites in her garage. That was Leela's house. Remember that a long time ago? And sometimes you just can't help it. We get termites around here.
Didn't find any signs of any termite activity. It looks good on the inside and the outside.
It was good. It all turned out good. But you got to have them. You got to have it done.
Right. I've heard examples before where there's an inspection, then it closes, everything's fine, and then something happens right after closing. That can happen too, right?
Yeah,
right?
of course. It
Right.
happened,
It's just the luck of bad luck.
it happened to us when we were in Las Vegas.
I can't remember what happened.
Right before we closed, it was a long time ago, memory issues. It's 28 years ago. Right before we closed, our air conditioning broke.
Oh, yes.
Remember
yeah.
that?
Yeah. You need AC in Las Vegas.
That sucked eggs.
yeah, that was bad.
And that was after the inspection. So we had to
Right.
buy that for the new buyer
Right.
because that was before we closed.
Right.
So,
Then also you talk to the alarm guy. They checked on the alarm system.
yeah, that's the
there.
freebie. They come, they check it all out, and you can always have that's just an extra.
Yes, on the alarm system, it was a do-it-yourselfer from the internet that the client purchased. They put basically motions and a keypad in the system. I found some of the old system equipment there that's not part of the system, and so you could remove that. But that's kind of what you have. The cameras are not working, it doesn't look like, because a lot of them are unhooked.
And then, the roof. You can have a roofer come out and check it out, especially around here. Because lately, everybody's needing a new roof because of that big storm. But today we didn't do that. We just did the structural, and he looked at it because it was a year-old roof.
Okay. So if it would have been older than a year, maybe you would have had a roofer come out.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
for sure.
All right. So is that basically the inspection process?
It was just an exciting day.
Yeah.
It was. It's great. I love inspections.
Well, that's part of your job.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's like getting me closer to the end.
Right.
Getting my buyer.
Once
the
you
house.
get to that process in the home buying and selling process, then you're almost to the end.
You're almost to the end,
Right.
and then your buyer has that 10-day time period. So we look over the inspection and we say, sometimes it's as is. This we already agreed. This is it. Here you go. Or fix this. Don't fix that. Be reasonable. Whatever.
Now, you also mentioned earlier about a pre-inspection. Let's say we're going to sell our house in the near future. We'd want to maybe get a pre-inspection to get an idea on our own what we
Just
need
go
to
fix
fix
stuff, yeah.
before it
I
gets
would.
right.
Yeah.
So there are no surprises.
Right. Because Mark is super duper handy, and he's going to go and fix all those things.
You know somebody else named Mark? Because it's not this Mark.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I think we killed it today.
Right.
Yeah.
We did?
We did.
Did I help you?
You did.
Good.
Mark filmed everything.
Right.
Yeah.
I did that. I'm your assistant now, aren't I?
He is. Mark
Right.
is my unlicensed assistant. Like he's official
Right.
with the Tulsa
Yeah.
GTAR MLS. So
Yeah.
he's,
After 50 years of doing something else, I'm doing something new.
he's going to get an evaluation almost every month on his performance from me.
You've always been my boss. Okay. Okay.
why we've been married for
That's nothing new.
35 years.
But you need to pay me.
Oh,
Okay.
I'll pay you.
I need a paycheck. now.
I'll pay you.
Okay. Okay.